Where are you going? You're at the Watchman Way with my co-star, Poppy. Come on, Poppy. Come on. Not in front of the camera. Come on. May 17th, 2020. We didn't rehearse this, by the way. I wanted to start with some clarifications. Come here. We don't have very good security at our studio. I talked to a member last night about her show last night, and it was a great conversation, and it illustrated for me something I think I just take for granted because I've been doing this for so long that I just assume everybody's up to speed. And I know we've got a lot of new people coming in, and a lot of them don't know my story, don't know the things I talk about, haven't seen anywhere near the 500 hours of live chats that we have now recorded. So new people are just going to take me for, the brief snippets they hear from me. And, sometimes I get a little worked up. I get a little angry. And I know that the Watchmen understand where that's coming from. And I've said this many times before. If you knew what I knew, you would all be angry. But I have to think about what my words, how they impact, especially new people. Because truthfully, they're the most important ones. If you've been with a Watchman for a month and you've, watched most of the shows, you're going to get the basic information of what we're trying to get across, right? Being prepped, extra food, water, medical supplies, ammo, physical, silver, and Litecoin. And some people just move on from here and do their research in other areas. That's fine by me, 100%. I mean, my job is to red pill and prepare. For others who want to get in deeper, that's all great. But I don't want to lose anybody because I'm taken for granted that they're up to speed, right? That they're going to know where I'm coming from. So I want to just clarify some things. Things like, the church and what God's shown me about the church and his dissatisfaction with what church has become. And I think, you know, most people, Poppy, come here. Most people I think agree with I don't think many people are satisfied with church today. I think that's why we're seeing, you know, a lot of churches losing members because they can't see a connection between and it's how I have felt basically my whole life since I was 12, that there's a disconnect between God, what I see as God, what I believe is God, what I've been shown is God, a disconnect between that and the churches. And when I say church, I mean in general church, Catholic Church, Baptist. I mean, pick a denomination. It really doesn't make any difference. Christian churches. It seems to be more about the money and entertainment than it is about, you know, spirituality and living your life in a meaningful way, I guess having the church, when we talk about the way, and again, for the new people, about mid-January, God called me for the second time to lead the revival of his church called The Way, the church that Jesus taught 2,000 years ago. That is, in my opinion, the purest form of religion in the world today. You can't knock it. There's no downside to it. You know, there's no priest, there's no pope, there's no hierarchy, no buildings. We meet in each other's homes. We're mostly doing work in the community, building homes, doing yard work, educational programs for the kids, getting the kids involved in these things, you know, yard work and painting houses and ending homelessness and hunger. But it's basically how we live our lives every day, instead of, you know, what most churches become, you know, spend an hour a week and call it good. That's not what church is to God. Church is how you live your life. It's not meant to be something that's off to the side that we do to, you know, kind of make God happy, because God's not happy with that. It's the same thing about the Bible. Again, everybody has to keep an open mind and use your critical thinking skills. The Bible talks about false prophets. You can't identify a false prophet if you're not using your critical thinking skills. And the problem is, by what I've been shown, is that there's a lot of people claiming to be godly. You don't have to look any farther than Mike Pence, our vice president, who's a phony, who most Republicans still think is a upstanding Christian. The problem is he's murdered, I think, over 200 children. He's a satanic pedophile. 85,000 Christian ministers in America who signed up for the clergy response team, working with FEMA, They were getting paid every month, and what they had to do was, when the time came, they had to get their flocks to turn themselves into FEMA camps. That was their job. Think God's happy about that? Ministers selling out their flocks to the devil, basically, turning them over, using Romans 13 to do it. All power comes from God. So politicians and government officials have power, had to come from God. That's what the Bible says. So you must obey him. Really? Were they using Romans 13 in 1930s Germany? Because it sounds a lot the same. I talked a little bit about prayer the other day. And I want to make sure that you guys, my thoughts about prayer are my thoughts about prayer. That doesn't come from God. Those are my personal opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. Mine are based on watching years of people say one thing and do another. So, it's a hot button for me, personally. But there is no question that I believe in the power of prayer. Of positive thinking. I mentioned yesterday, about you guys turning in suggestions for topics. And thank you, Roxanne. She was the first one. And it's funny, you're not helping, Poppy. She was talking about and suggesting, we talked about collective consciousness and the power of prayer with collective consciousness. Oh God, Poppy, come on. All right, that's enough. Poppy may have a chip implanted by the deep state. Poppy, you're really messing with the broadcast. Calm down. There's been studies that show the power of prayer. I'm not knocking prayer. I'm just knocking how some people seem to use it with their ego more in play than their spirituality. Again, personal opinion. But the part about God not being happy with the church, God's not happy with the church. God's not happy with how we use the Bible. The good news is that we're on the right track. I don't think there's any question, and I've been looking at this for over 5 years. I see it. The consciousness is being raised. I'm seeing it just in the membership, in the questions, in the receptions. Yeah, we are getting the cognitive dissonance set in where people are lashing out, but we're also getting more interest, more positive responses than we have. So we have to kind of take the good with the bad and understand where these people are coming from, and we got to keep track of them. People within our circles that you can see are struggling with this mentally. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. We got to be on top of those people because there's been a huge spike. Again, I'll talk about it in a minute, in mental health issues with this lockdown. Because what it does is it gives people a time, especially if they're thinking negative anyway, to kind of wallow in that negativity, sitting at home hour after hour after hour, watching the mainstream news, you know, spew all their garbage, which doesn't help any, right? If you're already suffering from anxiety or depression, you're not going to have to watch CNN for very long to fall into a deeper funk. So if you know someone like that who you can tell isn't handling this very well, check in on them, as often as you need to. Because a lot of people are having trouble with this. And there's a good chance it's going to get worse before it gets better. So as far as the perception, the reality is it's getting better. That's the frustrating thing about this is, as people should be becoming more positive, they're sinking deeper into depression because, that's what's in front of them. Again, that's another reason I think that the white hats pretty soon are going to have control of social media and probably the mainstream media. So, our whole focus is shifting to the way and to reviving the way. We're going to get a huge bump when the Catholic Church collapses. The Pope's going to resign this year. The Catholic Church is going to collapse from the inside. 1.2 billion Catholics are going to be looking for a new home, and the way is ready for them. We're going to have a lot of questions. Just think about, I was raised Catholic, so I know how this is going to devastate some people who have gone all in, even with all of the negative press and the pedophilia and the games that the Catholic Church has played. There's still people that are 100% in. And it's going to be hard on them when this all comes down. Because there won't be any question about it. The Catholic Church is as corrupt as the mafia, as corrupt as the Democratic Party. Child sex trafficking is one of their biggest moneymakers, along with drug trafficking. This is the Vatican now I'm talking about. Maybe the richest entity in the world, the Vatican. Not for long, because it's coming down, along with the Pope. That's a good thing, guys. What we're going to find, and, don't shoot the messenger, the church has been corrupted by evil. The Bible has been corrupted by evil. That doesn't mean that there aren't portions that are true. I mean, you can just look at it, and you can see, especially with what we're going through right now. You don't see a correlation there. There's something wrong. But there's a lot of things in there that were put in there to promote the globalist agenda, to divide and conquer us, to cause dissension. God did the same thing with the Bible that he has done with social media and the internet. Again, two other inventions of the globalist / cabal / Illuminati, inventions created to control us. It's all going to come out. That's why I say use your critical thinking skills. It's going to be clear, I think, as we go through this process the next 6, 12 months, these things are going to start coming out. We're going to find out truths in the next year or so about the Bible, about religion, about the church, churches, and the history of the manipulation. This is all coming down. The Illuminati, the cabal, will be destroyed this year. You know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Payseurs, all going to jail, probably executed, and their wealth is going to be seized. All of it, all of them. You know, remember how 1% of the world owned like 90% of the wealth? Well, guess what? That 90% of the wealth is going back to the 99% of the world, or whatever it is. The numbers, it's going back to the people. You know, it's taken them hundreds of years to get to this point, but God's done with them. This is the end of the Illuminati, the cabal. This is the beginning of the greatest spiritual awakening the world has ever seen. God's telling me that by 2024, the way will be the biggest religion in the world. And I just in talking to people the last couple of years, that's the other thing, you know, it was so obvious, you know, this what our next job was going to be. It just makes perfect sense. And in all the stories I've heard the last 5 years from Christians who are leaving their churches in droves because they're dissatisfied with what their churches stand for, how they use the Bible. And I think that's leading to the growing numbers for the Watchman, because people are starting to see this. And even though we basically just started this a couple of months ago, the way, it's really starting to take off because there's a need for this. People are starved for this. They're looking for something like this. It's coming at the perfect time for a spiritual revival because it's just common sense. You know, do the right thing every time. Tell the truth every time. Live your life in the service of others. Treat others with respect. No violence unless it's in self-defense. There's no holes in this thing. There's no way you can knock it. You know, you may not agree with it for whatever reason, but you can't knock it. You can't. There's no other religion that you can say is more pure. It's going to explode. It's taken off right now, and with the big stuff hasn't even happened yet. Just wait till the Catholic Church collapses and see what happens. Anyway, it's all good. It's all positive. Don't be misled when I get on a roll sometimes. Because if you stick around or you talk to people that have been here, you'll understand that, you know, I have devoted my life to God's work. I've given up virtually everything I held dear to me 5 years ago is gone to do God's work. I gave it all up. And I'd do it again. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done, but the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I know that the watchmen who have been involved feel the same thing. Because once you change someone's life for the better, their family's lives for the better, you can't, it's better than any drug you'll ever try. It's easy to get hooked. That's what the way is about. Getting hooked on doing the right thing, leading a better life, trying to be the best person you can be, thinking about other people first. When you do that, even if you're in tough times, it's amazing how it changes your perspective, how it revitalizes you. And try it. You'll like it. It's all positive, guys. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. All these things that are coming are for the betterment of mankind. So keep moving forward. Don't get stuck. Don't get stagnant. Keep moving forward, and this is all going to work out. Bill Gates, Fauci, and Big Pharma lose big case in the Supreme Court. I don't know when this was ruled on, but they're basically saying vaccines will not be mandatory. That the government can't mandate vaccines. That you have a constitutional right to reject vaccines if that's what you want. This is over for these guys. Whatever they were planning, the vaccines, if I got some time at the end, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but there was something else going on there that we're going to find out about. There's a movie that came out a few years ago. It's The Kingsman. The Secret Service. I think it's the first Kingsman movie. In that movie, everyone in the world got free cell phones. And there was something embedded in the cell phones that when a certain message was played through them, it basically created people going into a murderous rage. It triggered that in people, and kind of makes you wonder now with the 5G technology and them trying to force vaccines and in a big rush to do it. Kind of makes you wonder what their plans was. When you combine that with all the training that was going on at the end of the Obama administration, and for those of you that were involved in the movement, 5 years ago, you'll remember it was really odd, and I was suspicious of it. I knew there was something behind it. They were training military and police to handle a zombie attack or uprising or event, really similar to this movie, The Kingsman. It's just there's too many, they always have to. One of the rules is they have to warn us about what they're going to do. And all you have to do, look at 9/11. It was all over the movies. You go back and look at it now, what was it, 10, 15 movies at least? There were messages about 9/11. Anyway, I think there's something to that. We'll see. I think it's all going to come out too. Chinese ambassador to Israel found dead. Remember, Q's been talking about there's going to be a lot of suicides, unexplained deaths, people dying from the virus, maybe like Mike Pence, like the Queen, like Prince Andrew. Probably a lot of people like that go down. Mike, yeah. I mean, maybe even Obama. I don't know. I think they're gonna hang Obama on camera. I think you're gonna be able to watch that execution. I think many of these executions you're gonna be able to go and watch them if you want to, just like Saddam. I think they need to do that to prove to people that this really happened. This really is how it went down. They don't want people saying it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. And they're going to show you it's not a conspiracy theory. Yeah. He dies in home, sparking an avalanche of rumors amid the tension between the U.S. And its allies. And also, the U.S. is going to confront China and demand an investigation at the World Health Organization conference. Yeah, that ought to be a good one. The defunded World Health Organization. Powell from the Fed, 60 Minutes interview. Full recovery could take until the end of 2021, is what Powell's saying. And it will require, this comes from Powell, it will require, to get a recovery, will require a vaccine. A virus vaccine. It won't require a virus vaccine. Nobody's going to have to take a virus vaccine. And I don't think when the truth comes out, anybody's going to want to take a virus vaccine. Anybody that does their homework won't want to take a virus vaccine. Vaccines may end forever. They probably should. State lockdowns are creating a mental health disaster. Lockdowns have led to a host of unintended consequences, dangerously sharp rise in mental illness. Beware of cognitive dissonance and suicides. Like I was just saying, guys, anybody you see is struggling with this, you got to stay on top of it. You got to make sure they're okay. You got to talk them through it. You know, no one should commit suicide over what's coming. We should be celebrating in the streets. We will be once we get control of the mainstream media and we get these propagandists out of the way and in prison where they belong. Because it's treason. What they're doing is treason. They're conspiring to overthrow the government. Overthrow the government of the United States. I know a bunch of them are going to go. Depression and anxiety rates are much higher than normal right now. Most people can see it. I have to say though, we went out earlier this afternoon, out to a lake here outside of Phoenix, and it was jam-packed. I mean, you couldn't find a parking place. I mean, it was like a mile down the road to get a parking place. It was good to see people out and happy and enjoying the outdoors. So it's not going to take us long to get mentally back on track once this ends, and that this thing has been exposed for the farce that it was. Again, I'm not knocking President Trump. This plan has been brilliant. He basically gave these guys enough rope, these guys meaning the World Health Organization, Gates and Fauci, enough rope to hang themselves. And all these, globalist governors who have overreached and exposed themselves for the socialists that they are. They're finished. You think they'll ever get reelected now? People have had a chance to see what the socialist agenda really means when it hits the streets. And nobody likes it. Even the socialists don't like it. Here's a good one. Italian politician demands Bill Gates be arrested for crimes against humanity. Sarah Cuniel, a member of parliament from Rome, denounced Gates as a vaccine criminal and urged the Italian president to hand him over to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. I believe Gates is going to be executed for crimes against humanity. I mean, this guy, again, how the arrogance. I mean, he flat out admits it. He wants population control. He's a globalist. I believe he's a satanic pedophile also. I believe there's video on him. I don't think he's going to be around very long. I don't think he makes the end of the year. Okay, now let's see. I want to make sure. Yeah, and I'm thinking there is some kind of connection between COVID-19, the vaccine for COVID-19, and these 5G cell towers. We'll see how it plays out. What do we got for questions? Okay. Danielle, Deborah, Kevin, Jason. The FDA shut down Gates project today, according to Jason. Jerry, how you doing? Good to see him racing at Darlington. Yeah, Arizona, as of tomorrow, I believe, is 100% open. Good to see. Chad, how you doing? Randy, hello. Randy's saying, have you all seen some cities have ads for caretakers for group homes for kids that are removed from their homes if COVID is found? Again, more of the globalist overreach here, taking kids out of their homes, man. Any government, state, city government that allows this needs to be sued out of existence. Dennis, what's up? Tina, hello. Kathleen. Roxanne, how are you? Doc Cheryl, how's it going? Ray Lynn, hello. Teddy, Cecil, Jason. Jason was walking out of a cell station, found an envelope with $1,600 in it. The bank statement was in it. Found the 65-year-old lady that it belonged to, and she cried when he handed it to her. She tried to give him some money, told her to buy some silver for herself. Good job, buddy. That's what being a watchman is all about. Cindy, hello. Lee, hello. Todd, this is the kind of stuff that Jason just did that I'm talking about. Try doing something like that and then ask Jason. The feeling that you get is overwhelming. It's addicting. I'm addicted. I mean, everything I've gone through to get to this point has been worth it based on those feelings. Kevin read 3 different articles that the Royals have been stripped of their titles. You can tell by the clothes they're wearing. You should feel like a hero, Jason. Good job, man. Proud of you. Yeah, hang them all. Wade, what's up? God is speaking to us, Wade. Yes, God is speaking to us. Open your ears and listen, guys. God will talk to all of you if you listen. Kathleen heard that President Trump, that's true. He's giving them some funding, a little amount. You can bet there's more to this story. He's doing it for a reason, guaranteed 100%. And it has nothing to do with keeping the World Health Organization open. It has to do with bringing them down. Susie, how you doing? Yeah, vaccines, I believe, in the next year. Vaccines, I think, are on the way out. Barbara just posted what Kevin was talking about on the Queen, it looks like. Yeah, no vaccines for me, ever. Eileen, how you doing? Stephanie, hello. Stephanie says a lot of people that she does therapy with are starting to wake up. Yeah, it's something is going on, guys. There's something in the air. There's something to this consciousness raising. It's happening. I can see it, clear as day. Um, it's a good thing. Felicia saw a UFO today. That's the other thing. We might see an uptick in UFO sightings. There might be some correlation there. I'm not going to go there yet, but just keep an open mind. Danielle red pilled a few yesterday. Loves the look on their face when they get it. Yeah, you'll know when they get it. Joanne said that she had 2 childhood friends committed suicide because the fear of losing everything they worked so hard for. I mean, my God. If you guys sense in any of your friends that they're suffering from depression, you need to reach out for them. Be proactive. Don't wait until something like this happens. Just reach out to them. It doesn't hurt. Make a phone call. See what's going through their heads. Every person matters. We went to a lake, Canyon Lake, outside of Phoenix, and tortilla flats for lunch. Yeah, tortilla flats. I'll tell you, it was the best quesadilla I've had in a long time. I was surprised. Very good. Also, guys, the UFO that you saw could be ours. We have what you would call UFOs. We've reverse engineered their technology. from all these crash sites. We really do have a space force. This isn't something for the future. We have a space force right now. There are rumors that we have a base on Mars. Think about that. Jeff, how you doing? Felicia. Yeah, we have circular UFOs. The US government has circular UFOs. Well, we would call them UFOs if you saw them because they don't look like anything that we have that they've let us know that we have. You know what I mean? Cecil, don't let Cecil saying don't let any needles go into your arm or your ass, Cecil. Okay, good to know. And Jason wife loves him even more. You can't get a more happy ending than that, guys. Oh wow. Kevin's saying a local to the El Paso, general El Paso area, I'm assuming. 160,000 at an ATM? Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and after you did it, Litecoin went up. Carbon 60, Susie's asking about the dose. I think 15 mil is um, is a good dose. If you do 15 mil a day, that works out to almost exactly a bottle a week. I personally double that dose for me, but you know I'm 200 pounds and I'm active, so there's some athletes that'll take a bottle if they're training for a competition, will actually take a bottle a day of carbon 60. So there's no you don't have to be worried. It's not going to hurt you. It's more how much do you want to spend because it's $20 a bottle basically. So if you're at a bottle a week, you're looking, 80 bucks a month ballpark for carbon 60. You're doubling that if you're doubling the dose. So I would recommend if it's not going to strap you financially, especially the first month or two, I would probably go, instead of 15 mil, go 30 mil. And twice a day, like morning and lunch is what I would do it. In the evening, for me personally, I was taking it 3 times a day when I first started it, and I couldn't sleep at night. It was giving me so much energy. So I only take it now. If I'm going to take it twice, it's morning and lunch. New York's still on lockdown till June 16th. It's a joke. They need to be sued. It's unconstitutional. It'll never survive a legal challenge. How you doing, Jeff? Yeah, multiple lawsuits against Murphy of New Jersey and Cuomo. Yeah, these things are going to be struck down, you guys, I think in the next couple of weeks. This we're going to see the end of this charade. It's not going to be the end of summer. It's going to be in the next few weeks. President Trump's not going to allow this to continue much longer. I think everything he needed to expose has been exposed. Suzanne, how you doing? Yeah, Cuomo said no one will be prosecuted over the nursing home deaths. I think he's talking about himself because isn't he the one that ordered it? Yeah, he should be prosecuted, sued at least. Of course, he's going to be dead before the end of the year because he's another one. Cuomo isn't going to survive this. Cuomo the governor or Cuomo the CNN hack, neither one of them are going to survive this. Lee, how you doing? Jerry and his twin brother Gary. It is a great feeling to help others. It's the best addiction you can get. Two state Supreme Courts upheld your rights to protest. Cindy Lou, how you doing? Yeah, it's listen, good deeds. I like to hear about good deeds. You know, some people want to keep it private, whatever. However you want to do it, it's up to you. But I think we need more of that right now. I believe we need more people telling these stories because they're uplifting. And we need that right now. Roy, what's up? Danielle is saying the only shot she's going to take is tequila. Okay, Danielle. Kevin saying Trump has not released the WHO funding. He's thinking about it. Wait, what's going on there? I think you just missed a good one. Kathleen paid for a serviceman's groceries, I think. Good job, Kathleen. Fake alien. One of the things you guys have to, good point, Danielle. One of the things that, we've got to be ready for. The deep state has got some pretty spectacular CGI. They can make almost anything look real. Beware of a second coming. Beware of an alien invasion. They can make these things look as real life. Question everything. Tom, how you doing? Barbara? Serene's saying that headaches, upset stomach, sleep pattern off could be due to the shift we're going through. Yeah, you're gonna feel it, guys. Most people. Mike's talking about something interesting. I might talk about it tomorrow. Could be have something to do with the second coming. Best fit humans you've ever seen, Danielle? Huh. Men or women? Bases on the dark side of the moon? Yep. I think that's a fact. Canyon Lake? Yep. Cecil, Canyon Lake. Good job, Dennis. We're proud of you. Johnny's seen several objects he can't explain. Get ready for a lot more. I think they're coming, and not in a bad way. It's my daughter Rory. What's up, Rory? Susie asking if you drink it. Are you talking about the tequila or the carbon 60? Well, actually, you drink them both. Easy question. Stomach cramping, possible side effect. Eleanor, how you doing? Jason's asking if I think we're going to go dark. 3 days at the most, and I think it's a toss-up. I think things are going so smoothly, it might not happen, but be ready for it. Are you talking about carbon 60 detoxing? Carbon 60 is the greatest antioxidant available on the world today. Gets into your cells deeper than any other antioxidant in the world and cleans you out better. So, well, maybe more positive energy, Danielle. Susie needs a new governor. Oh, don't be surprised if there's not a lot of appointees, governors, state officials. There's a lot of them going to Gitmo. President Trump's, I think, is going to be making a lot of appointments. New York is definitely deep state oriented. Carbon 60. Get it at Amazon. Tessie, how you doing? Yeah, follow Q. Deborah wants to know, I think the polls are going to shift. I think they are, yeah. I don't think that it's going to be the devastating event that some people are talking about. Possibility of Nibiru coming in. I think that would be a bigger event. If Nibiru is coming, and I think it's a possibility, I don't think it's going to be a dangerous pass. Nibiru, depending on whether it comes on the outside of the sun, so the sun's between us and Nibiru, probably no worse than what we're experiencing right now with an uptick in earthquakes and volcanoes. If it comes between us and the sun, that's when it gets bad. And listen, we've survived many, many passes of Nibiru. I believe it's true based on the historic record. I mean, you've got all over the world, China, the Middle East, references to India, to this thing coming around. The Hopi Indians, cultures on every continent, I believe, except Antarctica, talk about this thing. So I believe it's real. I believe it might be coming around later this year or next year. But again, I think if it does, it's not going to be a devastating pass. We'll get through it okay. I'll keep you updated. But yeah, the pole shift, the devastation comes when Nibiru passes between us and the sun. And then what happens is, the gravitational pull, as it's coming around, it'll actually, in the past, I believe, has shifted the crust of the earth. That's where you get the biggest devastation, because just think about that. What it does to the oceans. It causes all sorts of sloshing, you can imagine, which causes tsunamis, which causes a lot of devastation. I don't think that's happening. And again, I'll keep you posted. But that's way more than just a magnetic pole shift. Really, I don't think it would be that big of an event. It's when the crush shifts that there's a big problem. And I don't think that's happening. Thanks, Kevin, and amen. Yeah, Gary, tequila shot once in a while is, I don't know if it's good for you, but it's not going to kill you or bad. It's not going to be bad for you. Yeah, don't. Reminder from Cecil: keep buying silver and Litecoin. Keep reaching out. This isn't over yet. We can't celebrate early. Got to have both silver and Litecoin. Do not miss the boat on Litecoin. I know a lot of people are getting into silver who are leery of Litecoin. Throw $100 at it. If you don't, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. $100 should be 6 million in less than 4 years. Who wouldn't take that deal? Please put something in. $50. Get at least one. You'll kick yourself for the rest of your life if you don't. This is the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. Get in the game. And Litecoin, silver, listen, you're going to be great on. You're going to have a great return on investment. It's not going to be anywhere near what Litecoin is. Not anywhere near. $100 in Litecoin and $100 will beat 10,000. Will beat $100,000 in silver. I think $100 in Litecoin might. Got to have your Litecoin, guys. At least a couple. Wag the Dog. It's a great movie. Very appropriate. If you haven't seen that movie, Wag the Dog, it's perfect for these times. It can really put things in perspective for you. Susie's proud that she represents a state where the Ohio professor was arrested for his ties to China. David, what's up? Sounds like ascension, Stephanie. Are you seeing things clearer now? Amazon has good documentary, Aliens on the Moon. Kathleen, two daughters and husband saw four small, white, filmy beings. Sounds like the Greys, what they would call, in our backyard about 10 years ago at 2 o'clock in the morning. Blue light hovering all over the backyard. Yep. A lot of people have reported seeing the same things, Kathleen. They're real, guys, for sure. And there are many different races, too. And our government knows all about it. And I think it's also all going to be revealed, too, as part of this process. What, Susie? What are you talking about? Plant the seeds. That's right, Gary. Listen, doesn't make any difference if you get in an argument with somebody, they hang up the phone on you. You did your job. You planted a seed because that person is going to remember that conversation at the right time and he's going to come back to you. So keep planting those seeds. Thanks, Dennis. Michigan, Johnny saying Michigan has an increase of sightings over the last few years. The world has had a huge increase in sightings over the last few years. Something is happening. They're coming to watch something. They're coming to watch a spectacular event that's going to happen on planet Earth. Good for humanity. Okay, Tessie, I'm not going to talk about that. Been on carbon 60 for 2 weeks. Sometimes gives her stomach cramps. Uh, I've never had anybody mention, and if olive oil doesn't give you a problem, I would say it's something else. So don't give up on it. I would keep going. There's nothing in this stuff that should make you ill. It's olive oil and carbon, all natural. You could drink a bottle of this a day and it shouldn't impact you negatively. I've been to Cap Rock in Lubbock. BJ's looking for a site for Q. Well, Q Proofs is a good place to start. Or Q.pub. Well, yeah. Supposed to shift in 2012. Um, uh, Things got delayed. There's a lot of stories behind this, guys. Um, well, no, Nibiru has. Trust me, when Nibiru comes around, you're going to know it. You know, Nibiru was supposed to come around in 2012. Here we are 8 years later, still isn't here. Probably not going to be here for at least another year. Something's going on there. It has to do with the timing. Um, they said it almost seemed to, because they've been tracking this thing for a long time. Um, that almost seemed to hang in the same place for a long time, which doesn't happen in space. It's moving out there. Something happened um, that delayed it, which again would change the position. So think about this. If there was say, an influence from God, and God didn't want death and destruction, what he would do would be to hold it back so that we could get in a different position so that possibly when it came through, it's going to be on the far side of the sun like we need it to be. That's what I believe happened. We'll see how it plays out, and I'll keep you posted. Raina, how you doing? I don't think the shift was years ago. I don't believe that. I think it's happening now. Tony, what's up? Kathy saying May 2023. I wouldn't dispute that. Um, Again, I don't believe we're going to have the destructive when it does come. We have time to worry about it. I haven't talked about it a lot in the last year plus because it wasn't going to be, at least it wasn't in our immediate future. We need to be focused on the swamp, the pedophiles, the economy. Those were our biggest dangers in the last year that we need to focus on. We'll see how it plays out in the future. I will be on top of it, I promise you. Okay, you guys, quit flirting. Donna, what's up? Nibiru. Mike has the correct spelling there. Yeah, Obama's going down. He's going to hang too. Planet X, Nibiru, same thing. We're not going to have the. We averted the death and destruction from Armageddon when we elected President Trump, I believe. Everything that I've been shown points to that. I don't think in the next couple of years we have anything that we need to worry about. Humanity as a whole. It looks like clear sailing, guys. It looks like everything I've been saying. 1,000 years of peace and prosperity. I'm wondering why. Text me, please, Shelley. Kathy, how you doing? Wade's got 100 Litecoin now. Good job, Wade. Deborah just got 1,000 in silver. Good job, Deborah. I think Gary's got 2 Litecoin. Litecoin is the right coin. That's right, Jerry and Gary. Tony, how you doing? No problem. Okay, Tessie, I can see Cecil has a crush on you. Yeah, Stephanie's saying she is seeing things clearly, or more clear. Um, and it was happening just prior to connecting with the group. So maybe we have been a part of this also. Uh, Barbara's asking if grays are good or not. Well, my understanding, and it's not complete, but that the grays are more of some kind of more of a robot type, just kind of a worker bee or a drone. Um, we'll see. So I would say that they're more benign. It depends on it's like who's driving the ship, right? It depends on who's controlling that drone as to whether it's good or bad or not. So I think with the small grays, I think that's what they're about. But as we get more into as we get through the collapse in the economy and we get to the other side of this thing, I'll be doing a lot more work on that stuff. First things first. Carbon 60 is the best antioxidant to cleanse your system, I think, in the world. Randy said hers happened too. And remember, guys, there's a couple of things that can happen here. It's a personal awakening, and it's a mass awakening. And I think there are many of us maybe who've had personal awakenings over the last several years. But what I'm talking about here, I think, is more of a mass awakening. Yeah, there is talk that these races, these alien races, they want to help, but we've got to do the work ourselves, and they'll be here to help in the recovery. That's one theory. Freedom of speech will return to America as soon as the white hats take over social media, and I believe that's coming any day. Melissa, how you doing? X22 is a good site. SGT Report, Greg Hunter. There's a bunch of them, guys. Go to YouTube. Forget the mainstream media. It's not worth watching. Get your news from YouTube. You'll be a lot better off. You get a lot more of the truth. Yeah, YouTube, you're going to get a lot of Q intel there. We've got a lot that are posted on the sites, guys, on the Watchman and Watchman Way. No freedom of speech in Facebook. That is true, but that's going to change. Okay, you do what you got to do, Cecil. uh, Tony, what's up? Dan, thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Tell your friends. Oh, it's Caprock Gold. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Gary's saying that grays are AI, and there's that's kind of this along the same lines as what I've heard too. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a gray who shot Snyder in that deep underground base in New Mexico. I thought it was a reptilian, but you know, whatever. Gary's an ancient alien fanatic. Okay. I like that show too, actually. Andromedans, helpful. I wouldn't argue that. Um, Gary wants to know what percentage of Hollywood is going down. Bigger than people think. A lot. But of course, I think the biggest hit's going to be in Washington and Sacramento for the state politicians. Uh, you know, a huge, 85% of politicians in California, New York, Washington, D.C., I think are going down. Hollywood, there's so many actors in Hollywood that hardly work. So, percentage wise, it's hard to guess. But of the A-listers, a lot of them. Because a lot of the A-listers had to sell their souls to become A-listers. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Okay, guys, that's all the questions. All right. Um, Not much time. Every day matters. Every minute matters. Every person matters. Let's keep pushing till the end. Be positive. Things are getting better every day, guys. Things are getting better every day. We're getting closer to the end of this. Hang in there. Keep pushing. Keep spreading a positive word. Um, that collective consciousness is a big deal. If we get everybody on a positive frame of mind, it's going to make this thing a lot easier for everybody. So let's focus on that. Let's try and be positive with the things that we're putting out there right now. Um, it's going to help. It's going to help the people that are struggling with this. Let's think about them a little bit. I know that there's nobody here struggling. We're on the Watchmen have a handle on this. Let's help the rest of our fellow patriots and Christians get through this. Americans. Again, God didn't specify to me, you know, who to warn. He said as many as I can. That's everybody. So keep pushing. Keep that positive message going. I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight, guys, with our prayer for God and country. Amen. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.